Hey guys, I'm Fun here, and today we're going to go over my Talrand the Sky Summoner EDH deck. So, Talrand the Sky Summoner, this is my Chinese foil. So, it's a 2/2 for 4, and it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you get a 2/2 Drake with flying. So it's a lot of instants and sorceries, and there's a custom Drake token I got a long time ago. It's pretty sweet. So we have a lot of islands. I think there's 36 lands in total. Like I said, this is a budget deck, so there's going to be a lot of basic lands, because those are budget. Then we have Terrain Generator, Opal Palace, Mirrored Landscape, because getting islands is pretty good. Desert of the Mindful to draw cards, Row Isle to draw cards, Lonely Sandbar to draw cards, Temple of False God, because it's a really, really good land. Then we're going to move on to artifacts. So we're going to start off with the mana rocks. We have Soul Ring, add 2 colors to your mana pool for 1. Can't really beat that. Pyramid of the Pantheon, you pay 2, tap it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and put a brick counter on it. And then you can tap it, add 3 mana of any color, 1 color to your mana pool if there's 3 or more brick counters on it. So that's pretty good. Then we have Commander Sphere. So Commander Sphere is a 3-drop artifact. You tap it, add a 1 color of any color to your mana pool, or you can sacrifice it to draw a card. Then we have Worn Power Stone. Comes into play tapped. You add 2 colors to your mana pool. It's pretty good. Then we have Darksteel Ingot. Indestructible. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Seer's Lantern. Add a colorless mana. Pay 2. Tap it. Scry 1. Sorry, I have some kind of like nasally something. Then we have Hedron Archive. You tap it, add 2 colors to your mana pool. You can pay 2, sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. Gilded Lotus, add 3 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool. Then we have Wayfarer's Bauble. These are the other artifacts. Search your library for a basic land, put it into play tapped, then shuffle your library. Swiftfoot Boots, protection for Talrand. Navinral's Disc, to destroy other people's things. Burnished Heart to ramp, because I get 2 basics with it. Solemn Simulacrum. Search your library for a basic land, put it in the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library, and when it dies, you draw a card. Then we have Dakra Mystic. It's a 1/1 for 1. You pay 1, tap it. Each player reveals the top card of his or her library. You may put the revealed cards into their owner's graveyards. If you don't, each player draws a card. Then we have Augur of Bolus. It enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Hold on, let me adjust a little bit here. Then we have Archaeomancer. Return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard when it comes in. And then we have the 2 cards in the deck that are in here just because of Talrand. Favorable Winds. Creatures you control with flying get +1/+1, so it makes my Drakes 3/3s instead of 2/2s. And then Paragon of the Gathering Mist does the same thing. It's kind of funny because there's a Drake in the back. You would think that they were meant for each other. Then we're going to move on to the instants or sorceries, which is most of the deck. So you have Epiphany of the Drownyard, reveal the top cards +1, separate them into 2 piles, and an opponent chooses a pile, puts it in you put 1 in your hand, and you put the other into your graveyard. Brainstorm, draw 3 cards, obviously put 2 back. Preordain, scry 2 and draw a card. Opt, scry 1 and draw a card. These are all draw spells. I should also mention it's a Storm deck. Strategic Planning, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand, and put the rest into your graveyard. Then we have Think Twice, draw a card with flashback. Anticipate, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of those into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. See Beyond, this is one of my favorite cards. It's draw 2 and then shuffle a card from your hand into your library. For 2 mana, that's pretty good. Undiscovered Clues, look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal up to 2 instants and/or sorcery cards from among them, and put the revealed cards into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Then we have Fact or Fiction. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library, and opponent separates those cards into 2 piles, put 1 into your hand, and put the other into your graveyard. Reverse Engineer, draw 3 cards. I put this one in over Jace's Ingenuity because you can tap artifacts to reduce cost by 1. Turn Aside, counter spell that targets a permanent you control. These are all counter spells now. Power Sink, counter spell unless they pay X, then they have to tap all their mana. Broken Ambitions, counter a spell unless they pay X, clash with an opponent, If you win that clash, the spell's controller puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Counterspell, obviously. Familiar's Ruse. So it says, in addition to casting Familiar's Ruse, you have to return a creature you control to your owner's hand. So you cast it, you get the Drake, you put it back in your hand, and it's counter target spell. Then we have Void Shatter, counter spell. If it's countered this way, exile it. Dissipate, exile it. Dissolve, counter spell, and scry 1. Broken Concentration, counter spell, and it has Madness. I don't know why. I don't know if there's any point where you could actually use that ability. Then we have Fairy Trickery, counter a non-fairy spell, and then exile it. Dream Fracture, counter target spell, its controller draws a card, and you draw a card. Overwhelming Denial, can't be countered by spells or abilities, and counter target spell. Rewind, counter spell, and untap 4 lands, so it's basically a free counter spell. Summary Dismissal, exile all other spells and counter all abilities. That's pretty good. Aether Snatch, gain control of target spell, you may choose new targets for it. If that spell becomes a permanent, it enters the battlefield under your control. That's a really, really good card, and it's really underrated. Scour from Existence, just exile a permanent. Unsummon, return target creature to its owner's hand. Rapid Hybridization, destroy it, they get a 3/3 frog. Snapback, you may remove a blue card in your hand from the game rather than pay its mana cost, and return target creature to its owner's hand. Then we have Disperse, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Cyclonic Rift, obviously return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand, and then you can overload it, meaning it replaces target with all. Echoing Truth, return target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name of that permanent to its owner's hand. Really, really good against tokens. Aetherize, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand. You really can't beat that. Then we have the 2, walk effects, I guess. We have Time Warp. Target player takes an extra turn after this one. Time Stretch. Target player takes 2 extra turns after this one. Then we have a couple tutors. We have Merchant Scroll, search for a blue instant or interrupt, reveal that card to all players and put it into your hand, then reshuffle afterwards. Fabricate, search your library for an artifact, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Call to Mind, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. It's really, really good at playing the spells again, like the extra turn. Pull from the Deep, return 1 target instant card and target sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, and then exile it. And then we just have some of the powerhouse spells. So we have High Tide, makes all islands tap for additional blue. Turnabout, I don't really need to say that much. And you get to untap all your lands, or you can tap other people's lands, or tap other creatures. It's a really versatile spell. Tell the Telepath, target opponent reveals top 7 cards of his or her library. You may cast an instant or sorcery from among them without paying its mana cost, and that player puts the rest into his or her graveyard. And then Spell Mastery, if 2 or more instant or sorcery cards are in your graveyard, you may cast 2 revealed spells instead. It's really good. Mirror Match, again, another underrated card. Basically clones everything on the battlefield that's attacking you, or a planeswalker you control, and then they get exiled at the end. So if they have a bunch of enter the battlefield effects, this card is really, really good. And then we have the 3 main win conditions of the deck. So we have Temporal Fissure. Return target permanent to its owner's hand for 5 mana, and it has Storm. So Storm is whenever you play this spell, copy it for each spell played before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copy. So like I said before, this is a Storm deck, so this card is ridiculous. Then we have Mind's Desire. Shuffle your library, then remove the top card of your library from the game. Until end of turn, you may play it as though it was in your hand without paying its mana cost. And it has Storm again. It's really, really good. Oh, we're losing it. And then we have Sphinx's Bone Wand. This is one of my favorite cards ever. It's so fun. So, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may put a charge counter on Sphinx's Bone Wand. If you do, Sphinx's Bone Wand deals damage equal to the number of charge counters to target creature or player. So, in a Storm deck, this card is crazy good. You cast 5 spells. First one's going to do 1, second one's going to do 2, third one's going to do 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. It's really good, especially when I have so many really, really, really small converted mana cost spells in my deck. So that was my Talrand the Sky Summoner EDH deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe. It really, really helps a lot. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Share it with your friends, family. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. Share it wherever. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate all the support I've been getting, guys. Thank you so much.